Welcome to the NVUSD Future in Focus podcast.
I get to learn new things and I get to see how my school's changing.
We need to find different ways to ensure that students feel like they can find the help that they need during the day.
Really fun to build relationships with new people, new peers, new teachers.
And you know where to get help and support when you need it, which is great.
As a teacher, you want to see your student grow and you want to help your student succeed in life.
I don't know about you, Peter, but I am so excited about this episode. Today, we're focusing on a truly vital aspect of our district, how young people are making a real impact on school policy and the overall student experience. I'm Dr. Rosanna Mucetti, Superintendent of the Napa Valley Unified School District.
And I'm Dr. Peter Abboud, Executive Director of Research, Data, and Assessment. In this series, we amplify student and staff voices, strengthen community connections, and spotlight strong teaching and learning across our schools, all through the lens of being and becoming future ready.
We are so excited to feature two of our amazing students who are actively involved in shaping their education. Jackson, an 8th grader from Unidos Middle School, and Amaya, an 8th grader from Redwood Middle School. Welcome, Jackson and Amaya, to the podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, we're so excited.
Hi, I'm really excited to be here.
All right, well, welcome, Jackson and Amaya. First, can we start off by each of you just telling us a little bit more about yourselves?
My name is Amaya, as you said. I'm 13 years old. I go to Redwood Middle School. In my free time, I like to go down to the farm and work with my animals. And I raise cattle. And in my free time, I like to hang out with friends and do fun stuff with my family.
Hi, my name is Jackson. I'm 12 years old, going into 8th grade at Unidos Middle School, hoping to transition at Napa High next year and be a part of the Spirit Leading program. And on my free time, I like to hang out with my friends, lay by the pool, and go on vacations.
Great. Thanks so much for sharing more about yourselves in that brief introduction. Both Jackson and Amaya are valued members of the NVUSD Student Advisory Council. This advisory, it's a formal group within the Napa Valley Unified School District that empowers students to play an active role in school-wide and district-wide decisions. These students truly amplify student voice and contribute to district-level decision-making and bridging the gap between student perspective and leadership. The advisory consists of students from NVUSD middle schools like Unidos and Redwood and all of our high schools, designed to represent a wide variety of student perspectives. Students serve for a 2-year term and commit quite a bit of their time to monthly meetings, helping provide feedback on areas of growth for both our local control accountability plan and on an as-needed basis, depending on the issues that the district's facing. They even develop prototypes to address issues like the transition from 8th to 9th grade, developing relationships with adults and peers. Just recently, you helped us work on the cell phone policy and creating opportunities for future visioning here in the district.
So Jackson, tell us how you started to become a little bit more involved in the student advisory.
So this is my first year of student advisory. I started in the beginning of 7th grade, and my principal notified me that I was going to be starting to go to these meetings. And at first I was like a little bit like, oh, like what is this? But once I got there, I realized it was like a really safe space, and I could like contribute all the ideas and talk with my peers and like all of the adults and the teachers. And it just kind of felt like it was like I wasn't stressed anymore, and it kind of just felt like there were no wrong answers and all the ideas weren't like wanted and needed.
I love that, no wrong answers. And I love how you were nervous initially, but you kind of worked through that, you engaged, and then it turned into something. Would you get excited about meetings and your opportunity to kind of influence and engage?
Definitely.
Fantastic. What about you, Amaya?
I got involved in student advisory through my principal, Mr. Hartneck, who I was in PE class, and he pulled me out of PE, and he started talking to me about it. And he sent me home with a packet, and me and my mom looked through it, and my dad, and I really realized that this is what I want to do, because I feel like now a lot of times you really don't see so many kids and students being involved. And I feel like when a student has a voice in something like this, they really feel a lot more comfortable and how Jackson said when I went to those meetings, it felt really welcoming, and it felt like I was always there, and I maybe had to be there for something that I don't know what it is yet, but I think I'll figure that out when I continue on going to these meetings, and if I continue on wanting to do something like this through high school.
Great. Well, thank you to both of you for taking a risk with us and joining the advisory council. It's wonderful to hear how both of you found your ways to this important work. It sounds like we have great principals recruiting student leaders out there as well. But now, what does it mean to you to have your voice heard at the district or school level after your year of experience? Jackson, let's start with you.
Okay, so I think it's like, okay, just to start off, it feels really good. But I just feel like it's like really good that we can have students contribute their voices and ideas so no one feels like they're like not like a part of the NVUSD family, because everybody should be and everybody should feel that way. And I just think it's like a really great thing that I can contribute to teachers, superintendents, people that get involved with the district in more ways than I do, so they can take different ideas from different people and go spread them throughout NVUSD and all of the different schools, middle schools, high schools, elementary schools.
That's great. It sounds like you like to be an influencer, Jackson. Yeah, that's fantastic. What about you, Amaya? What are your thoughts on that?
I'm honestly really proud of myself, and I am very proud of like all the other students who are contributing to this NVUSD student advisory that we have. I think, in my personal opinion, I really appreciate being there and knowing that I have a voice, and what I say is being taken into consideration. And I feel like when a student knows that they have a voice and their voice is being heard, they're gonna wanna try even more, like through school, academically, and just trying to see what they could change for their school and for their peers to make it a better learning environment, and to try to make others feel more comfortable in being, oh, if that person's able to say something, maybe I should be able to say something, and maybe my opinion will be heard and will be taken into consideration for future students who need a better academic learning environment.
That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. So from your perspective, what are some aspects of NVUSD that are working really well for you? What makes a positive difference in your day-to-day experience? What do you get excited about when you go to school?
Oh, one thing, honestly, one thing I get really excited about to going to school is maybe just learning and seeing like what I said at those meetings, maybe like telling myself, oh, maybe what I said is gonna help. And just going to school honestly makes me feel so much better, because like I'm with friends and I get to see my friends, but I get to learn new things, and I get to see how my school's changing, and I get to see myself grow, and I get to build relationships with new people and with those teachers who I really want to have a connection with, and I want to do good in their class. And just knowing that I had something to do with it makes me feel very proud of myself and very thankful that I'm able to change things for my school that will help me and to help other students.
Wow, you made some fantastic points, Peter. I want to recognize peer relationships, learning, just the actual act of learning, and then connecting with teachers that are facilitating your learning. And then this bigger idea that because of your involvement in the council, you feel like you have agency and impact in your educational experience, which gives you a sense of ownership probably, right?
Yes.
It's great. What about you, Jackson?
So I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but last year I was a part of the ASB, the student council.
Yes.
And I was a spirit coordinator, and I loved to do that, to know that I was helping my school plan different events and make everybody feel happy, like with rallies, dances, all that fun stuff. And I really love just throughout the year getting closer with my teachers that maybe I wasn't so close with at the beginning of the year. It's just like really fun to build relationships with new people, new peers, new teachers. And also, something that really changes my daily life at school is if I'm having a really bad day. If I was in 6th grade, I would be saying different stuff, but now that I've learned and I'm going into 8th grade, it's a lot easier to go to the wellness center and talk to people and just be able to actually open up to people, which I wouldn't be able to say in 6th grade because I was too nervous to go. But once I started going and I started building relationships with my social workers, Miss Anderson and Mr. Carlos, they're really amazing, and I'm so happy to be able to share that space with them.
That's great. Again, I'm hearing relationships is just critical to you feeling like you're having a positive experience at school. And I love, you've mentioned peer relationships, but you also emphasize the importance of positive, caring relationships with the adults on your campus. And it's funny, that evolution from 6th to 8th grade, huh? It's a whole different experience, right?
Definitely.
Now you really know how to advocate for yourself and leverage resources that we have in the district, for example, like the Wellness Center. So that's fantastic.
And you know where to get help and support when you need it, which is great.
And that self-awareness to know when and how to ask for help is really important too.
All right, so let's talk about some challenges. So we talked about things that are going really well for you at NVUSD. What are some of the biggest challenges that you and your peers face in your learning environment? And how do you think the district can address them? And also, I remember from being in middle school, that's a tough time. So we know that there are challenges. So tell us, what are the things that come to mind, and how do you think we can help?
I feel like the challenges that not only I face, and this is just my opinion on what I face, but I feel like a lot of times it's the type of learning environment a student is in. And it's like if I'm going home and I'm doing homework, but my room looks like a mess, I'm not gonna really focus so big on my homework while I'm focusing on the mess that's around me. So if a classroom is being disruptive, I feel like I'm not really getting my work done. I feel like I would want a different type of learning environment to go to. And we have a library, but a lot of times the library is used for the 6th graders who are in lunch. So it's not really such of a quiet space. And I think just having a different room that will help me and other students have a better learning environment that they could do, for study times, for homework, and more of a quiet space just to focus more on it. And I think when a student is around something where they feel comfortable and something where they feel safe, it does help with learning, and it does help them want to do more of work, because if you're in a noisy room, you're not going to want to do the work because you're distracted. But if you're in a space where you do feel it's very quiet, calm, and you feel very safe in there, then I'm going to be able to get my work done, and that's what I'm going to be focusing on. So I think just having a separate room for maybe study time or homework or something like that.
Great. So it sounds like you're 100% believer that the learning environment, the actual physical environment, can make a difference.
Yes.
And then, of course, the culture and the dynamics of that space. And sometimes in classrooms, we want activity and engagement, but it's also helpful to have other spaces where you can have quiet time and focus time and, be reflective or focus on homework or read.
Yeah.
And that's important. So what I'm hearing you say is that it's important for us to think about how we're organizing learning spaces and making sure that there's, the appropriate sort of culture and dynamics in those spaces so that they're conducive to whatever the learning need is.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's a great suggestion. Thank you for illuminating that, Amaya. What about you, Jackson?
Okay, so I'm just going to be honest straight out of the gate.
We love that.
Please be
I
honest.
feel like a lot of kids in middle school struggle with depression and anxiety, which is a really big thing that we need to take note of and make sure they're doing okay. I know a lot of my friends, certain days they get anxious or really upset, and I want to help them, but at the same time they're pushing away, and I'm just maybe go to the wellness center, but none of them want to, and it's just I get that you're really upset today, but you don't need to make it 10 times harder for yourself and for others. So I feel just acknowledging that and maybe like advocating for the wellness center in more ways to get the kids to go there and like actually feel comfortable in that space. Because I know half of the kids at my school haven't even been there yet. And it's just like on those days that make school 10 times harder and you don't want to be there, just like try to push through and go to the wellness center, take a break. Just make sure that you're in like a good place for school. And like it kind of hurts me too to see my friends act like that. And it's just like, I get that they're like really upset, but like it's just like I want to help them, but at the same time I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Jackson, it sounds like you're so empathetic, and that's such an important skill to have as a young person and then as an adult for the rest of your life. So I love to hear about how empathetic you are. And thank you so much for raising the mental health issue. I mean, we all know that, anxiety and depression are all on the rise. Suicide rates are on the rise. And I love that you're reminding us that we need to find different ways to ensure that students feel like they can find the help that they need during the day. I think you said it a couple times, 10 times harder. Like it can feel like school on that day that you might be really anxious or depressed is 10 times harder, which means math can be really hard for some people.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot harder if you're anxious or depressed. So thanks for reminding us that we need to find a variety of ways to support students. And one last thing I want to say is, because you and I had a conversation in the recent past around the importance of taking care of yourself first.
Yeah.
And you're a really great model of that, right? Like you can't be there for your peers, because for some students it might be just a peer kind of cheering them on and making them feel better in the moment. But if you're not in a good space to do that, then it's hard to be there for your friends and peers and others in our lives. So thank you for reminding us the importance of taking care of yourself first.
Yeah.
So let's shift a little bit. If you had the power to implement a new initiative or change in NVUSD, what would it be and why? How do you think it would benefit the students? So any big ideas out there? You think you're ready to start with one, Jackson?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of restate what I said at the State of the District, because I feel like this fits the question really well. As I stated at the State of the District, I feel like if any students are feeling stressed or like they have a really good idea they'd like to contribute, we can make like a survey that's accessible to like everyone, whether it's Napa High, Middle School, Unidos, Browns Valley, Vichy, like anywhere at any time they can contribute ideas through this survey, and they'll be able to like people in the district will be able to look through them and find like what's happening, whether it's good or bad, and like we just need to get the students' ideas like into our system more than we are right now.
Right. So a consistent way of gathering that information directly from students. Great.
And what about you, Amaya? What do you think? What's your big idea?
I think my big idea, I had a conversation with my principal about it. I was thinking, because now so many students who are going into an 8th grade, they're having to really think about, I'm going into high school next year. I probably won't even know what I'm doing. I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. I'm thinking maybe like having once or twice a month during schools, having high schoolers come down and talk to the 8th graders about what they really should be caring about, and maybe some things are like, it's not really such a big deal. But I think just allowing the kids to ask questions and to really take into consideration what those high schoolers are saying, because they've been in high school longer than you have and you're in 8th grade. But I think just knowing that you have someone there who knows about what to look for and what not to really worry about would be a really good thing. So I'm saying like having high schoolers come down and just talk to the 8th graders, and the 8th graders just asking questions and letting their curiosity kind of roam through.
Yeah, the transition from middle school to high school can be really intimidating. And so to get some of that extra help and support and feedback could be really beneficial.
Yeah, what I love about your suggestion is, we may have an event or two where we do that, where we connect our middle schoolers to our high schoolers. As it is instead of hearing it through a principal or district administrator or even a teacher. It's nice to hear it from like students that are a little ahead of you in their journey and hear directly from them, and you can sort of see yourself in them. But I love this idea. Your suggestion seems to be like something more ongoing, maybe even a little less formal, so you can be really authentic and ask like real talk, right? Like what are the real questions of 8th graders who are probably feeling some anxiety around it? And that might really bring their anxiety levels down if they can just ask questions and do it, you know, more than just at one event or a couple of experiences, but maybe something more ongoing. Okay, that's great to hear that those are areas to improve.
Definitely. All right, let's go ahead and go on to the next question. So looking ahead, how do you envision the ideal future-ready school experience from a student's point of view?
What does it mean to be future ready?
I think what it means to be future ready is just reassuring yourself that obviously the future ready is going to be talking about like ways you could prepare yourself, but I think it's not just going to be talking about, I feel like when a lot of students think about future ready, they really think about the career that they're doing, and it could involve that, but also the future ready, in my opinion, it's really teaching me and other students how to cultivate, because how am I supposed to know what I'm supposed to do if I'm not getting information on it? Because the future ready isn't just going to be talking about ways how to get your life started. It's mainly just finishing one chapter and starting a new one. I think it's really giving you a gist on what's going to happen and the learning environment, and just really giving you a perspective on what's going to happen. Because I feel like how I said a lot of students are going to think future ready is thinking about the career I want to do. But I think the future ready is kind of closing one chapter of a book and then kind of starting into a new one, like getting a refresh and just saying, oh, well, this chapter's done. If I read this next chapter, it's going to have a connection to it. So if I find that connection, maybe I'm going to be able to bring myself and use those skills that I was taught through the Future Ready program. And because cultivate is to prepare and use. If I'm going to use something and I don't have it, how am I going to prepare myself? So I have to get that information to prepare myself, and then when I know I'm going to use this information, I can use it. So I could have a better learning environment for myself, for other students, and just kind of bringing up a new chapter in my life.
I love that word, cultivate.
Me too. And that's pretty deep, Amaya. And I'm also hearing that like we often, you know, as educators in our school system, we talk a lot about college and career, making sure that you're ready for that, you know, from all the sort of technical aspects.
Yes.
But I'm also sort of hearing from you, if I interpreted it correctly, that you're sort of asking us to really set you up to be very present in the present.
Yes.
And by being present in the present and going deep in the present, and getting the information you need to be successful in the future, you can, you know, stay really fully involved and fully all in what you're doing today in the chapter that you're in today, so that when you move to that next chapter, you have something to build upon. Did I sort of interpret that correctly?
That's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah, that's very, very profound.
And that you need a skill set to do that,
Yeah, you
right?
need a
And that's
skill
how we
set.
need to help you.
Yes.
Yeah, and you need to practice it in the chapter that you're in today. That's great. Do you have anything to share around this future ready sort of schooling experience?
I think that adding on to what Amaya said, it's like a lot of people graduating high school are like set on the job that they want to do, and like they think they're ready to go to that, but like to get that job, a lot of times you need to like go to college and like get a 4-year degree or a doctorate or all of the things you could get. And like I feel like people kind of there's like a lot of people that like either think college is going to be like a breeze or think college is going to be way too hard, and I feel like they just need to like realize and get more people from college to like help get them ready and prepare them from high school to college, because that transition's probably the biggest one, because you need to learn how to like do stuff yourself, because like a lot of people aren't going to be able to help you. Like, you're not going to be living with your family. Like, it's just like, it's a big transition. I feel like a lot of people don't realize that. And it's just like, maybe you didn't get into the college you dreamed of, but you can still emphasize your learning and push yourself as like far as you can to like get the job that you've been dreaming of while going to that college.
Yeah, that's great. As a mother of a young man that's going to have his second year in college, I just went through that transition with my own son, and I had a daughter who went through it. And you're absolutely right. It's a huge transition. And whether it's college or off to a job, your comment really makes me think about the fact that sometimes we overemphasize the job or the career. And you're talking about sort of just these life skills that you need, whether you're going to go into the job or whether you're going to take the leap into the four-year university. You need to really think about the different life skills that you're going to need. Your mental health, to go back to the previous question, to make sure that you have the habits necessary to be successful in whatever environment comes your way after NVUSD. So that's a great reminder. So thanks for elevating that.
As we kind of start to get a little bit towards the end here, what message would you like to share with teachers, administrators, and parents about listening to and valuing student voices? And Amaya, we can start with you.
I think one message I would recommend for teachers and administrators and parents is, I feel like just really listening, because I feel like, example, if you were to be failing a class or not really passing it as well as you hoped you would, and your teacher is kind of really going hard on you and just going up to you, oh, why are you failing my class? And the student doesn't really feel like the teacher is really listening, their student isn't going to want to really participate as much as they really hope to and as the teacher wants them to see. And I think just having a moment of really listening to what the teacher has to say and what your parents have to say, but also really listening to what your student has to say. Because if you really think about it, like, the teacher is obviously the one teaching and the parents are the parent of the student, but they're not the ones that are in school. You are, and if they want to see you succeed in school, then really listen to what they have to say and try to be on the same page as them. Because if a teacher and a student don't have such a good connection with each other, then the student's life isn't gonna succeed to what they want to see. Because as a teacher, you want to see your student grow and you want to help your student succeed in life. But if you're really not giving that type of comfort that your student's hoping for, the student is going to reject your requests and is not really going to commit to what they're having to say.
Fantastic. So parents, teachers, administrators, world, listen more.
Yes.
The art of listening. So that's a really great suggestion. I'll close this out.
Sure. So a lot what Amaya was saying, I feel like we need to get students' ideas, not like just into NVUSD, but we want to get it into classrooms so students can feel like their ideas are like helping the teachers teach and like helping your peers like learn from what you said. And like the teachers, like sometimes they are like really like pushing us to like go as far as we can, but sometimes we're just not ready to go to that limit yet. And we just need like a little more time to like really reflect on ourselves before we can go like to our maximum capacity. And like we just need to get all of this stuff like in our heads and all of the stuff we've learned from all of middle school before we go to high school. But like if we haven't done that, like what are we gonna do, you know?
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's a nice compliment to Maya's comment, right? Like listen, and how do we, that's how we would get ideas from students, right? And patience and time. Well, this is fantastic. Jackson and Amaya, I love this episode of the podcast. Thank you
was a good
so
one.
much for joining us today. Your candid insights and dedication to shaping our schools as student leaders are just truly inspiring. And it's clear that student voices are not just heard, but are actively making a difference here in NVUSD. So thank you for your contributions to that.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you. And we look forward to sharing more valuable insights with you on future episodes of NVUSD Future in Focus podcast. Join us next month as we share highlights of our strategic plan and our progress to date.
And until next time, keep being future ready.